As I know Jimmy has discussed that there are times he was disappointed in the play of the line last year. What's the mentality? What's it been like preparing for this season, and what do you think has been different, if anything at all?
I feel like our biggest thing is building off last year. Like you said, we were all pretty disappointed as a whole group. So we're just building off last year, taking that as a learning experience instead of something negative.
You play next to Carter Warren. What have you seen the changes from last year to this year with him?
I've seen a lot of changes on the field and off. Just his mentality, like he's grown from like being a high school kid to being like a grown man. So I enjoy playing next to him. And on the field, he's just like a completely different person.
Right. Can you describe a little bit what Coach Borbely's mindset is like? He seems to be, from what I understand from you guys, pretty much a perfectionist. Is it tough to play for a guy like that?
No, not tough. I enjoy playing. I enjoy playing for Coach Borbs. He pushes us, no matter if you're the first person on the line or the last person on the depth chart. He treats us all the same. So I appreciate that. He coaches hard. He picks out the little stuff that can make a good player great.
Bryce, Jimmy Morrissey told us, I guess it was last week, that you guys have been kind of focusing on running off the ball more as in being kind of the more aggressors, blocking in the run game. How have you guys practiced that, and what teams, whether it's college or NFL, have you guys looked to try and say, hey, like this is what we should be doing, or how we should be doing this better?
Yeah, that was a big emphasis for us this year. Like you said, our run game wasn't what we wanted to be last year, so that's like a big emphasis. And we watched a lot of NFL tape, Cowboys. We watched the Saints. We watch like our tape from last year, also and the year before, to capitalize and learn from that.
Bryce, what's the mood like right now? You guys are getting ready for your season opener after what was arguably the craziest offseason I'm sure you would have never imagined having.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to be here. A lot of us thought like we'd never get here just because so many other teams in conferences canceling the season. So we're just locked in. We're ready to go. We got that mindset where we're like, we just can't wait to play.
Right. What are some of the things you guys learned from watching the tape from the last two seasons? I'm talking about tape from you guys.
We just learned. We learned like what our flaws were, and now we're working on those, working, learning what not to do, and we're also taking the good things from last year and making them better. So just what not to do, and what we did last year well, and we're trying to improve on both of those.
Bryce, which running backs have kind of been sticking out to you during camp?
That's hard. We actually been rotating a lot of running backs. I like all of them. I like DC. I like Vince Davis, AJ Davis, Izzy. I like all of them.
Bryce, Coach Narduzzi mentioned a while back that you guys, when you guys couldn't meet up physically, you guys got grease boards and were working with your coaches to kind of write things down and learn the concepts. What were some of your biggest takeaways from that time when you guys were learning? Like, some of the biggest things you learned, you were like, oh, wow, that really helped me, or, some of the challenges that through that time?
There's so much stuff like every day. Like just I like having mental days like that. Like we go on our grease boards, and one day Coach Borbs would pick me out to run like the meeting drawing wise, or he picked Jimmy out, and then we also work on like the NFL process of like questions they would ask us. So like throughout that whole process, we learned so much mentally.
Bryce, you're talking about wanting to improve the run game, and the offensive line was part of a historic running game 2 years ago. It's a lot of the same guys. What do you feel like are some of the things that maybe you can get back to, maybe, and how much of a part of that do you feel like was a part of the transition to the new offense that you guys went through last year?
Um, I'll probably say what we need to take from the 2018 offensive line the most is just the mentality. Like those guys just wanted to just play football, just hit somebody, run off the ball. Whereas last year, I feel like we didn't have that, but this year I feel like we do.
But you also did a lot of pass blocking last year that you didn't do in the past. How do you feel like? Do you feel like you have a better chance this year of being a more balanced line, of being good at both than you have in a couple of years?
Yeah, that's what Well, I feel like we have a lot of good pass blockers, so like that's our goal is to be more balanced, and so we don't have to lean on the pass game so heavy, and we can be more balanced and have both options.
Bryce, I've seen Austin Peay described as a very aggressive defense. They'll throw a lot at you. What have you guys seen from film? What do you expect from them on Saturday?
Uh, they do play hard and they're an aggressive team, but so are we, and we're just focused more on like treating this game like we would treat every other game.
Bryce, you guys got a pretty big senior group this year. Can you talk about like the leadership that you've seen across the board with your class, not just from like guys who are named captains, but just like the tone you guys have had to set to keep the team together, especially with the young guys that have come up, like Wendell, who we just talked to, through COVID, through all the challenges that made this year different, and making sure that you guys were staying on the same page.
Yeah, I feel like we have a lot of leaders, not just the captains, like you said, or the seniors. Like we have young guys stepping up too. Like a young guy that stands out to me is Vince Davis. He's stepped up a lot, like just vocally, what you need. No, he's a redshirt or sophomore, a redshirt freshman, and he's doing great. So I appreciate that. I appreciate the young guys stepping up and saying something, and we can all learn from each other. And I feel like that's how you become a great team.
Bryce,
up. Go ahead, John.
Jeff, what have you seen out of Gabe Hoy and Jake Cradle during this camp? And obviously, we know Gabe kind of had to come back from an injury, but just those two guys in the film room on the field, what have you seen out of them?
I've seen a lot, specifically from I was talking about Gabe and then Cradle. Gabe, I've seen it's just mentality. I like playing with Gabe. He's one of the players that you like being on the field with him. He inspires you, just his intensity and the way he approaches the game. And Cradle, that's my guy. That's like my young dude. So I appreciate him too. He brings a good mentality to the game. Like he's easy to coach and he takes criticism well. So I appreciate him.
Do you talk with Jake a lot, like going back and forth, just about like little things? Obviously, you guys kind of share a position, and like you said, he's kind of a younger guy, relatively speaking. Do you guys share tips with him and that kind of stuff? Is that kind of a working relationship you guys got?
Yeah, every day, every play, every rep, we exchange back and forth. Like, how would you take this block? How would you approach this play? How do you approach film? How do you approach the game? So, and then I'll take a lot from him also. So,
Bryce, kind of off Chris's question earlier, what does it mean for you guys to have the same coaching staff back for a second year, and what kind of advantage do you think that's been for you guys?
It means a lot. Like I said, I like working with Coach Borbs. That's who I focus on most. I feel like he's a great O-line coach. He's like easy to understand, he's easy to relate, and also he's like he does well at developing us and like finding something that we need to get better, and then also getting it better like right away.
Seems like he wouldn't sugarcoat anything with you guys. Like, where you stand with him.
Yeah, exactly, and we all appreciate that, and I feel like that's why we play harder for him.
Bryce, this year's team has a lot of seniors on it, and I was just wondering if you notice a different atmosphere from this year's team compared to past Pitt teams you've been on because of all the senior leadership.
Yeah, there definitely is a different atmosphere. We just all hold each other to a higher standard and ourselves to a higher standard because we want to excel. So like, we all want to like do good or do great so bad. So we all hold each other up, and like our play is at a high level with each other. So we just, whether it's off the field, whether it's discipline, whether it's actual play, like we're all at a high level.
Bryce, this Pitt defense is getting talked about like it's one of the best that Coach Deuce has had since he's been here. After chasing those guys around all training camp and getting to hit them all, who's somebody that's standing out over there to you that maybe isn't getting talked about enough in your opinion?
But we have a good linebacker core. I mean, I don't really pay attention to the media that much and who you guys are talking about, but I feel like everybody is like good at their own stuff. We have good D tackles who give us like Kalijah Canty. I'll pick him out for an example. He's a great player, and I feel like we'll see him coming up soon.
Bryce, Wendell mentioned one thing to us about the challenge of self-discipline and self-accountability with how you guys are handling COVID. Now that training camp's out and you guys are, there's classes and the university's in session and everything. Can you talk about what are the discussions like amongst yourselves? You talk about the leaders that you guys get. What are you guys saying to kind of keep each other like, hey, we got to all hold each other accountable right now because you guys can't afford to lose anybody for game day?
Yeah, I feel like open communication is the best way. We just like remind each other that we have a ultimate goal, and what's more important, like one day satisfaction or our ultimate goal at the end of the season. And everybody agrees that it's our ultimate goal of playing these games, winning all these games, and going to the championship and winning.
What are some of the things you've given up in that regard, Bryce?
I don't do anything but outside of the staying here extra, getting all my work in, like treatments, film, workouts. I don't do anything. I go right home and I stay home.
Do we have anything else for Bryce? Anyone? Bryce, exceptionally well done. Thank you for your time.